So I have a serious question for everybody. And I'm serious about this. When is the last time you had fun? Not just like fun, but like howling, laughing, tears running down your face hurts from laughing so hard. Um, the kind of joy that fills an entire room. When's the last time that you had that?
Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of the Grit Meets Growth podcast, where we bring you inspiration and insights focused on getting uncomfortable, making things happen, and creating a magnetic life. If you enjoy the messages you're hearing here, please leave us a review on whatever platform you're listening on, and make sure to subscribe so you don't miss out on future episodes of the podcast. With that, let's get after it. So where we're at today.
Hold on, dude.
Yeah.
Oh, never mind. I'll show you after.
No, what do you got?
Nothing.
Okay.
Moving on. Start that over.
How's your day going, man?
Could I stop you again? What? What? See, we got to get in the right mood, man. Are you belly laughing yet?
I am. It's okay. Let's talk about belly laughing, because we had the conversation yesterday about the belly laugh. Share with the Grit Meets Growth audience what you said about belly laughing.
So I have a serious question for everybody. And I'm serious about this. When is the last time you had fun? Not just like fun, but like howling, laughing, tears running down your face hurts from laughing so hard. The kind of joy that fills an entire room. When's the last time that you had that? And the reality is that requires, and we've talked about this, right? It requires you to be kind of in that moment. Many times it's not just you that's laughing. You're laughing with someone, friend, a family member, right? Multiple friends, multiple family members, right? When that gets contagious and you get 5 or 6 people all kind of on the same page, that's in the present moment. Sometimes you have to create those moments, right? They don't just, sometimes they just happen. Sometimes you got to create them.
You shared a story with me yesterday as we were prepping for this about creating the moment that I have been laughing about. Belly laughed about it in the moment when you told me for the first time, but I'm still laughing about it now, that you should share.
So there's a local band that I've been going to see off and on for, 15 years. I mean, I've seen these guys probably no less than 40 times. And so we're at a bar, and the band's getting ready to come on, and we're hanging out, and I've got a couple of friends and I are standing there chatting. And I don't know, out of the corner of my eye, I catch this dude that just ordered a drink that has a name tag on. I'm like, yeah, well, what do you do with a guy that's got a name tag on? Duh, you yell out his name. So I yell out his name, and he turns around. I'm like, hey, Tanner, man, how the heck are you? Really good to see you. Well, dude, that sparked up a conversation, not just one conversation. We talked for a while, and then he went off and did his thing. And then all of a sudden he came back into our group and talking some more about the evening. I mean, it ended up being a lot of fun. And just out of the blue created that moment. And we belly laughed and we laughed and went on and on. So the other part of that is, so Tanner started out the day, apparently, with losing all of his college football bets, feeling a little bad about it, said, I'm going down to the bar on the corner. Well, the bar on the corner was having a class reunion. And somebody in there was like, man, where's your name tag at? It's like, I don't know. I just guess I didn't get a name tag. He's like, how do I get one? It's like, oh, you just got to go talk to Eric over there at the, at the front door, and he'll hook you up with a name tag. So of course, Tanner goes over to the table and is like, hey, Eric, man, really good to see you. This class reunion is, banging. But apparently, Joe over there told me I need to get a name tag. That moment carried on through the rest of the night, even to when Tanner was at the same bar as we were, and I yell out his name. If you're not having fun, what the hell are you doing, man? We talk about all this stuff. We talk about growth and getting uncomfortable, but getting uncomfortable doesn't mean you can't have fun. And especially as we're walking into it, probably, in my opinion, one of the most precious months of the year. Everybody is in a good mood. It carries on for a long period of time. We spread that holiday joy, throughout the month of December. Have some fun.
This is first of all, I got to say, I love that story and I love the progression of that. And I'm still, like I said, I'm still laughing about it because Tanner fires up the fun in the first place. He goes to a class reunion that is not his class reunion. And he's like, hey, give me a name tag. I'm going to hang out. And then, like you said, the carryover on that, you see a dude with a name tag and you would decide to have fun with it. It didn't cost you anything. You didn't have to go out of your way that far. You just yelled out a dude's name and you were loose enough with your life that you're like, I'm going to enjoy this. I'm going to have fun. I'm going to make something of this moment, right? Our ability right now, like when you talk about being in the moment and you talk about the preciousness of December, and I'm on the same page with you. I love Christmas. I love December. I love the period between Thanksgiving and Christmas, everything about it. The holidays are like my jam, right? But on the flip side, it's really easy, and I battle it personally, but I see it across the board in almost everybody that I hang out with. We have a hard time being present because we got work stuff. We got a party we got to go to. I got to get my Christmas shopping done. I got to do this. I got to bake some cookies. I got to get to this church service. I got to do this. I got to do that. I got to do this. There's so much stuff pulling at us through the holidays that it's really difficult to be where your feet are. It's really difficult to be present in the moment at that party or at that church service or at work, wherever you're at, even in like your kid's choir concert. It's hard to be there and just be there because we're pulled in so many directions and we struggle to turn off all the noise and all the junk. And so as we think about this, to take those moments and be present and take those moments and have fun and figure out how to create a little bit of a belly laugh in the middle of it, how to make somebody else smile. Sometimes you're the one that needs the belly laugh and sometimes somebody else needs the belly laugh. Most of the time, both of you need the belly laugh. But you got to put the effort in and be intentional about how can I make this moment fun? How can I enjoy where I'm at right now?
And how do you do that? How do you take all those things that are coming at you? Do you have any techniques that you employ as you're struggling with that?
I was just going to ask you the same thing. I think for me personally, the biggest thing is catching myself. Like when I'm walking in, and my kids are grown now, a little older, so we don't have choir concerts the same as what we used to. But say you're walking into the choir concert, as you're walking in the door, catch yourself and remind yourself, okay, I'm walking into a choir concert. I'm going to just be at the choir concert or the holiday party or or work or whatever it is. I'm just going to be here right now, and that's enough. And then in the middle of that choir concert, when all of a sudden you start to drift off, there's moments where you catch yourself. You're like, oh, I'm going to look at my phone. Oh, that's right, I'm at a choir concert. And the phone is the big one. Like, the phone makes it really hard to be present anywhere, because you look around and you see people, like even at the choir concert. I'm going to videotape the choir concert. I'm going to capture this for the rest of life. So now I'm going to look at the choir concert through this like 3x2-inch lens instead of being at the choir concert. So those are the things. I think being intentional to catch yourself. And when you do catch yourself, stopping and saying, and like resetting. That's what works for me. How about you?
Yeah, I think for me, and I was just going to say, yes, all of that. But I think even prior to that, there's some prioritization that needs to happen. And just looking at everything that you have to do and setting yourself up to go into those moments in the present by some planning and understanding and prioritization, and thinking about what is really important, right? As you look at your day and you look at all of the things that you have to do, yes, they're all important. But what's the most important? Where do I have to be most present? And really looking at those things and setting yourself up for success when you go into that meeting or that event or that party.
I'm curious on your take about something based on what you just shared there. And everyone's got a take on this, so not everyone was going to agree with what I'm about to say or share, but the danger that comes between Thanksgiving and Christmas and into New Year's Day is this: I'm going to take the last month of the year and I'm going to coast. And I see it all the time. Well, let's just kick that meeting out into January. We don't have to do it now. Let's just kick it into January. We'll catch back up in February. So there's this weird balancing act that happens in this time period where we have a lot more stuff on our plate. We're trying to be present, but you and I both own businesses. Like, I still have stuff I want to accomplish between now and the end of the year. I have conversations I want to have. I've got stuff I want to get done, goals I want to wrap up. How do you manage that? Like, do you coast, or do you, like, what's your take on that?
Yeah, it's a mix, right? I think as a business owner, the easy piece of it for me and for my business partners is to really dive into the business. It's to work on the business, right? So yes, everybody else is kind of, shutting down out there and having that attitude of, well, I'm just gonna coast through the month. Spend the time working on your business. Get yourself set up for next year. What do you need to do? What are some new things that you might need to, deploy? What are new marketing set up for next year? And really set yourself up for success heading into the next year. I also, from a sales perspective, I've always taken the month of December to, clearly there's opportunities that you're wrapping up that you've been working. Sometimes it comes down to the end of the year and people trying to spend their budget, etc. So you've got that stuff, but also spreading that holiday cheer, just working those relationships. And I think I've said this before, right? I had a mentor early on in my selling career that said, your network is your gold. You have to nurture your network. So December is a great time to nurture the network. So when you say coast, what does that really mean? right? Does coast mean I'm just going to throw my hands up and slide into next year? Does it mean that I'm going to stop selling? Does it mean that I'm going to not get out and meet with people? Like, I guess I don't understand necessarily what coast through a month means for me. Is my foot on the accelerator all the way to the floor? Not in the way it is normally, not in the same fashion, I should say, not on the same priorities, but it's still to the floor, just on other priorities. It's just a shift.
I 100% agree with that. I think that you went exactly where I would go with that. There's still stuff to get done. There's still work to do. There's still opportunity to keep your foot on the floor. You make shifts in what you're doing, like strategy and planning. You brought up marketing. We're working with a lot of clients right now on strategy and plan for the coming year and what that's going to look like and how we're going to execute on those plans. I would even take that to the personal side of life, like strategy and plan. What do you want to get out of next year? What do you want to do? What goals do you want to set? Not this New Year's resolution crap that people are starting to think about right now that you're going to do for a month and a half, and then you're going to dial back on, and we're never going to see you back at the gym again for the next 10 and a half months, but have some goals that you're going to set for yourself, that kind of thing. But now is the time to be thinking about those things. Now is the time to keep your foot on the gas, change what you're going to do. And I love that you brought up nurturing the network. Like that comment, your network is your gold. Of all the things that I've done, built, experienced over the last 10 years of running this agency, the thing that I'm most proud of is the relationships I've built, the people I've met, and how we've been able to help each other, and what that looks like even outside of business. This, you and me doing this podcast, is network that started as business and turned into something completely different. That's where the value comes in. That network is solid gold. And a lot of times we don't treat it with the appreciation or the value that we should. And we certainly don't work to bring joy to it. So this, like, to come back around, bring joy to your network. I love that.
Looking so serious. We're supposed to be having fun on this episode, man. You're like, oh, staring at me with intent.
I'm telling you, I get intense about this stuff because it for whatever reason, it bothers me. I think it bothers me when people miss the opportunity. So now I'm glad that you said that, because I'm talking about joy with my intense face on.
Yeah, I had a situation on the this morning as well. That kind of feeds into this whole conversation. Look around at the people in and around your life. It's interesting to me. I had this observation as I'm driving into the office this morning. Not even an observation, just thought, I guess. How bad does it suck to go through life constantly having to make excuses? I've observed a situation over the last few days with a number of people. Excuses left and right. Excuses why to not do something, why to not show up, why to not go to an event, why they didn't make a phone call. Like, how bad does that suck? I can't even imagine sitting there and making all of these excuses every day. It's such a cop-out, man. Have you seen that? Have you experienced that around people around you?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I've, to be honest, I've caught myself in it a little bit too, only because it is that time of year where everything's busy, everything's going on. So there are, but again, that's an excuse. That's an excuse.
And granted, dude, there are things we cannot attend every event that we're invited to. Like, we have to realize that.
Yeah.
That's not the kind of excuses I'm talking about here. Right. And that's not even an excuse. That's just an apology. Right. You can turn that what could be an excuse and trying to make I don't want to make somebody feel bad. So, this is what I'm going to tell them. Dude, just tell them you know what? I got too many other things going on. I can't make it. I would love to be there, but I can't make it. Don't make some excuse like, oh, I can't make it because my kids are doing this, or I can't make it now because my kids are sick. Stop with the excuses, man. Let's be real with people. It's frustrating. I get so frustrated with the BS excuses that come out of people's mouth.
Why do you think okay, so let's take that down the rabbit hole for just a second. Why do you think people feel like they can't be real?
Because they don't want to make somebody feel bad. Or maybe they don't want to make themselves feel bad. I don't know. I don't live in that world. So it bothers me because I don't understand it.
I'll be honest. I caught myself. You were trying to get a hold of me the last couple of days. You reached out a couple of times and I was upside down in my last couple of days. And I didn't get back to you as quickly as I could and didn't acknowledge the calls as fast as I should have. And when we finally did talk, I caught myself making excuses. Oh, dude, it's been real busy. It's been this. And so it's a little convicting to hear you say that. And to think about it and go, okay, what if you didn't make excuses? What if you just sent a text? And I tried to do that, but just send a text. Hey, busy day. I'm going to try and circle back. But it is. And that's why I asked the question, why do you think people make excuses? Because I was thinking about myself. Why did I make the excuse? Like, oh, I was real busy. I think it's a combination of exactly what you said. You don't want to make the other person feel bad. And you don't want to feel bad about yourself. You should have, and you didn't. And now you're trying to like protect your own space a little bit. And where you go with that, the honesty part of it, you and I have had some pretty brutal, honest conversations about, I'm just got a lot going on, overwhelmed, too many things on my plate, that kind of thing. Those honest conversations have created more depth in our relationship than the excuses ever would.
Let's get back to fun. I want to talk about fun today. Now that I've aired my frustration, let's get back to fun. Coffee's starting to kick in.
I'm going to ask you this, because you said this is a precious month for you. You really enjoy this month. You enjoy the holidays. What's your favorite part?
The cheer, sharing it with people. I love to be that busy person in the month. Try to be thoughtful. Yeah, I just love that, people in the month of December typically are in a pretty good mood. So there's that opportunity to really laugh, have fun, catch up on a year, think about what's going on next year. Yeah, it's good stuff. How about you?
I would echo that. I love, one of my favorite things is going to the mall at Christmas time.
Ugh.
I know.
There goes my brutal honesty again.
I love the crowds. I wouldn't call myself an extrovert or an introvert. I haven't figured out what I am yet, because I think we all probably have a little bit of both. The crowds in the mall
at Christmas time energize me a little bit. I enjoy that. I definitely reach a point where I'm like, okay, I'm ready to be done with this. I'm done with the crowd and I'm ready to go home and not be in a ton of people anymore. But there's something about the energy of walking into a group of people who are kind of, to your point, they're excited, they're happy, they're in a good mood. I enjoy that. I don't enjoy getting behind the person in the mall who's crabby and in a bad mood. Not my favorite thing for sure. But just there's an energy around the holidays, like the lights, the snow starts to fall. It takes you back to what it was like when you were a little kid. I'm going to go there. I'm going to go down a rabbit hole for a second. Somebody asked me the other day, go back to when you were 6 or 8 or 10 years old and tell me about a moment that was like the most joyful moment you had as a kid. And so I started like reeling it back, and there were some Christmas memories that came out of it. But then there was a park by our house, and it wasn't even a park. It was an old lot, wooded lot that somebody had built a BMX track in when I was a kid. And every summer I would leave my parents' house at 8:00 in the morning, and I'd pedal my bike 3 blocks away to this wooded lot where the BMX track was. And I would ride my bike on this BMX track, and I would do jumps, and like, that's just where I spent my days. I'd come home, get a bologna sandwich for lunch, and then I'd go back. I don't even think my mom knew where it was or where I was going. She just knew I was gone and didn't care. When we were having this conversation, it immediately brought me back to that BMX track. I could smell the dirt. I could visually ride the track. It was a short loop. And there was one spot where you would come around a corner and there was a big jump. And I remember just wheeling around that corner as fast as I could and hitting that jump and catching air, and what it felt like to like tabletop your bike over it and then land it and all of those things, right? I could see the trees. I could smell the dirt. I could feel what it felt like to crash, but it was this joyful thing that I had as a kid. And it was interesting making space to go back and think about that. I hadn't thought about it in years, but the minute that my brain got me there, it was like I was right back there. And I think there's like Christmas memories. I remember running out and seeing presents under the tree as a kid. Christmas memories do the same thing for me. So,
you have a favorite Christmas present that you got somewhere along the line?
that's a good question. We were just talking about I'm going to go to my least favorite Christmas present. We would have stockings under the tree, and the stockings would have like an apple and an orange. And if you were really having a good year, some socks and underwear. Once I started getting socks and underwear for Christmas, I was kind of sad about that. I think my favorite Christmas gift was probably my uncle gave me an Optimus Prime Transformer, which was a big deal. Semi-truck, trailer, the whole deal. I remember playing with that for weeks after Christmas. So that's probably the highlight one for me. How about you?
My Red Ryder BB gun, which started kind of a tradition. You know, when I was young, that was the BB gun, and I used the heck out of that thing. I mean, it went with me everywhere, right? My dad and I and some friends spent a lot of time in the woods. My dad and his buddy were doing some land clearing, so they were cutting trees and clearing this section of land. Well, his buddy's kid and I were good friends, and we'd run through the woods with our Red Ryders and, shooting at silly stuff. We'd sit along the river bank and shoot the water spiders. Just crazy stuff, just silly stuff. Right. But that gift, gave me years of fun.
You light up when you talk about it. Like, you just lit up when you talked about it. Your face lit up.
It's good shit, man. It's good stuff. It was a lot of fun. Those were fun times. Not a care in the world.
So here's the spin on that. Like, we have this conversation about the holidays, and we have the conversation about fun, and we have the conversation about our favorite presents and all of that. Not a care in the world is what you just said. The thing to remember as we walk through the holidays, and we're trying to make the holidays fun, we're trying to be present, we're trying to make the most of this month and really enjoy it. You're going to have people in your circle. You're going to run into people in your life that are going through some hard stuff. You're going to run into people that are struggling through the holidays. And just to have some awareness of that and show people some grace, and to, whether they're going through a health thing or they've got a divorce going on or whatever. Like when I was going through my divorce and it was the holidays sucked. Like the holidays sucked. The first Christmas without my kids, where they were at their mom's on Christmas Eve, sucked. So showing people a little bit of grace and meeting them where they're at, you can love the holidays, and many of us do. Some of us don't. So I think that's something important to weave into the conversation, is showing people a little bit of grace. If you find somebody who's going through something hard right now, or you know somebody in your circle who's going through something hard, just reach out to them. Just say hi, check in.
And listen with focus. Listen to what's going on. And chances are you can interject some fun into there. Since we're talking about fun, there's always an opportunity to laugh. No matter how hard the stuff is that you're going through, there's always an opportunity to laugh.
There were guys, I'm glad you said that, because it reminded me of something. There were guys in my circle that first Christmas who did a really good job of reaching out to me and just checking in and making sure they made room to laugh and have some fun in the middle of that, where it wasn't just me at home with the dog by myself. But there were guys specifically, as you say, that faces pop into my head, people that reached out. And so they made it fun, even though it wasn't fun. And I made myself open to having a little bit of fun, even in the midst of some challenges. So the fun message, the be present message, the reach out to people message, and create some joy as we walk through this next month. That's it, you guys. Like, just do those things. We can make this month awesome, not only for ourselves, but for other people. And I think if you can do that, you won the month.
Yep. And I think one other tidbit to think of, as we're early in December, if there's something that you're wanting to start, don't wait. Don't wait. If I want to lose weight in the next year, don't wait. Start now. You can still enjoy the holidays through those things, right? But just start. If it's whatever your New Year's resolution is, don't wait. Start it now. You'll be happier if you do. And you'll probably have more chance of being successful with it versus just feeding into the 6 weeks of whatever. The other thing that's interesting is if you just go that next week, if you do start in January and you go 6 weeks, if you just go another week, the chances of that becoming a habit are much greater. So one last little tidbit: start early. Why wait? Have some fun. Enjoy life, man. There's enough negativity and crap out there that we deal with on a daily basis. Find some opportunity to have fun. Laugh. Silly faces. I don't know. Whatever, man. Just enjoy life.
I'm just going to hit on one last thing as we wrap this. Do not, when you bring up there's enough negativity out there, don't feed into the negativity. I woke up, I turned on the news because I wanted to see what the weather was this morning, which was a mistake. I could have looked. There was going to be a Christmas catastrophe. Those were the words that they said on the news. We averted a Christmas catastrophe. And I'm like, you're using words that are specifically geared to create fear and anxiety in me. And I tuned in for that. be careful, you guys, with the negativity because it's getting fed to you from all over the place. We're glad you're here and you're getting something different than that, but just be aware of it because it's going to steal your joy. It's going to steal your fun. It's going to steal the holiday from you if you feed into that crap. So that's it.
Exactly. And by the way, Die Hard is a Christmas movie.
100%.
I'm out.
Have an awesome day, man.
Make it a great day and get after it.
That wraps it up for today's episode. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for being part of the Grit Meets Growth tribe. And thanks for growing along with us and being part of this journey together. If you know someone who needs to hear the conversation we had today, please share it. If you got something out of this conversation, please leave us a review. And finally, if you want to make sure you don't miss future episodes, just remember to subscribe. We're thankful for each and every one of you. And as my co-host and good friend Chris Cathers always says, make it a great day.